The sound of my mother's cackle sliced through the air like a knife, sharp and unfiltered, as I stood frozen in the hallway of my own home. "She's our golden goose, laying those eggs without a clue where plucking her feathers bare," she said, her voice dripping with that familiar mix of glee and disdain. My father chuckled along, low and rumbling, while my sister added her own snide twist. "Keep squeezing that wallet, I've got dreams to fund." That moment, with the phone still pressed to my ear from Aunt Clara's unintended call, something inside me snapped. Not with tears or rage, but with a cold, quiet resolve. After pouring nearly $500,000 into a family that viewed me as nothing more than a bottomless pit of cash, I was done. My name is Laura, and this is how I turned their betrayal into my liberation. Watching from afar as their world crumbled under the weight of their own greed. Let me pull you back to the roots of this poison. Because to understand the depth of my hurt, you need to see how it all festered from the start. Growing up in a modest suburb of Newark, New Jersey, my parents, Mark and Susan, and my younger sister, Brooke, who trailed me by 6 years, built a home where love was doled out like rations in a famine. I was the one expected to excel, to grind, to prove my worth every damn day. Brooke, she was the princess, celebrated for merely existing. At 10, I slaved over homework until my eyes burned, bringing home a flawless report card dotted with A's and teacher praises. I'd skipped recess, begged for extra assignments, all in hopes of earning a sliver of their pride. Dad glanced at it once, shrugged. "That's your job, Laura. Don't pat yourself on the back for the bare minimum." Mom echoed him. Her tone clipped. Expectations aren't for celebration. But when Brooke, at 4, scribbled her name correctly for the first time, they paraded her around like she'd cured cancer, throwing a backyard barbecue with neighbors fawning over her genius. The favoritism sharpened as we aged, carving deeper wounds into my soul. My 13th birthday gift was a second-hand laptop from a garage sale, glitchy screen, keys sticking, barely functional. I forced a smile, but inside, it stung like salt on a fresh cut. "Be thankful," Mom snapped when she caught my disappointment. Plenty of kids get zilch. Fast forward to Brooke's 13th, a gleaming new iPhone, the latest model, complete with custom cases and apps preloaded. She hadn't even asked for it, it just appeared, wrapped in shiny paper, as if her mere presence demanded extravagance. By high school, the divide was a chasm. I navigated college apps solo, fumbling through FAFSA forms, hunting scholarships like a scavenger. I landed a partial ride to Rutgers, covering tuition but leaving me to scrape by on loans and 2 part-time gigs, waitressing at a greasy diner and tutoring rich kids who whined about their easy A's. Meanwhile, my parents funneled every spare dime into Brooke's future. "She's destined for greatness," they'd boast at family gatherings. "A lawyer. Maybe a judge someday. We can't let money hold her back." I graduated with a degree in marketing, saddled with $40,000 in debt, and clawed my way into an entry-level job at a midtown Manhattan agency, pulling $70,000 a year. In the city, that meant a shoebox apartment in Queens, walls so thin I could hear neighbors' arguments, a kitchenette where the stove doubled as counter space. But it was my foothold, my escape. Then came the call that chained me back. It was a rainy Tuesday night. I was reviewing client pitches when Dad's voice cracked over the line. "Laura, things are bad. Real bad." He'd been laid off from his construction foreman gig, company cutbacks in the recession's wake. Mom's arthritis had flared, forcing her to drop to part-time at the retail store. Bills piled up, mortgage, meds, and Brooke's looming law school tuition at NYU, $80,000 a pop per year. "We need help, kiddo. Just to tide us over." Guilt wrapped around me like a noose. They were my blood. After all, the ones who'd raised me. Flawed as they were. Okay, I whispered. I'll send what I can. What started as a temporary lifeline morphed into 8 years of silent hemorrhage. Month after month. I wired funds $4,000 here for the house payment. $6,000 there for Brooke's books and fees. Crises multiplied like weeds. The furnace broke in winter. Dad's truck needed repairs. Mom's doctor visits spiked. I covered it all, dipping into my savings, skipping promotions that required travel because I couldn't afford the time off. At work, I hustled, networking events, overtime pitches, climbing to senior account manager at $160,000. But my life? Spartan. I lingered in that queen's dump for years, upgrading only to a modest one-bed when I hit 30. No weekends away. No splurges on clothes or dinners out. Every bonus funneled into investments, Roth IRAs, blue-chip stocks, a diversified portfolio I built through late-night research, vowing I'd never beg like them. For years in, I made my boldest move, snagging a fixer-upper in Westchester for $500,000, a bargain in that leafy enclave. Outdated wiring, leaky roof, but solid foundation and a yard that whispered peace. I renovated piecemeal, swinging hammers on weekends, learning plumbing from YouTube tutorials. With savvy trades and aggressive payments, I owned it outright in under 4 years, no liens, no debts, just mine. It became my sanctuary, a symbol of what grit could forge. Family visits were obligatory invasions. They'd descend from Jersey, lounging in my living room, devouring takeout I'd ordered, never offering to chip in. Brooke would drag her law school buddies over unannounced, turning my space into a study hall littered with empty beer cans and half-eaten pizzas. Gratitude? Zero. To them. I was the provider, the reliable cog in their machine. Then, 6 months back, the facade cracked wide open. It was a lazy Saturday. They were over for family time, me slaving in the kitchen over brunch. My phone buzzed, Aunt Clara, Mom's estranged sister. We chatted idly until she asked for Susan. I padded toward the den but halted at the threshold. Phones still connected. Mom's voice boomed. Oblivious, Laura's our little money tree, shake it hard enough. And the bills just fall out. Laughter erupted. Dad, she's got no life. No kids. No man. What else is she gonna do with it? Brooke, as long as she keeps funding my bar exam prep, I'm good. Pathetic how she buys our sob stories every time. The words lodged in my throat like glass shards. 8 years of denial, of rationalizing their demands as love, shattered. I wasn't family, I was fodder. Quietly, I retreated upstairs, ended the call with Clara, and let the ice settle in my veins. Downstairs, I served eggs and coffee with a plastered smile, plodding in silence. Brooke wrapped up law school soon after, landing a cushy internship at a high-profile firm, and announced her engagement to Derek Harrington, scion of a real estate dynasty. Parents beamed like they'd orchestrated it all. They orchestrated a lavish engagement bash at Le Bernardin, the swanky seafood spot in Midtown, 30 guests, open bar, courses that screamed excess. I arrived in my sensible sedan, heart pounding with anticipation. For months, I'd maintained the status quo, transfers flowing, bills paid, biding time for this pinnacle of their entitlement. Midway through, after champagne loosened tongues, Dad rose for a toast. To Brooke and Derek, may your future shine as bright as your love. Cheers rippled. Then, and to start you right, Laura's gifting you her Westchester home. Prime spot for a power couple like you, space for kids. Entertaining clients. Brooke's eyes lit up like Vegas neon. Oh, Laura, that's amazing. I can already picture the home office. The room hushed as I stood. Voice steady. No. Dad blinked. What? I'm not giving away my house. I earned it. It's mine. Brooke's face twisted. You're joking. After everything we've done for you. I pulled out my phone. Scrolling through bank statements I'd screenshot meticulously. Let's talk everything. Here's $7,000 for your tuition last semester. $5,000 for the roof repair. Total over 8 years? $480,000. While I ate ramen and worked weekends. Gasps echoed. Derek's parents shifted uncomfortably. And I overheard you all calling me your money tree, laughing at how gullible I am. Aunt Clara, present, nodded grimly. I heard it too. They bragged about manipulating her. Chaos erupted. Brooke screamed accusations of jealousy. Mom hissed about embarrassment. I laid $300 on the table for my share and walked out. Blocking numbers en route home. Freedom tasted like that first deep breath after surfacing from drowning. I severed every tie, canceled autopays, revoked streaming logins, fortified my finances. Weeks blurred into peaceful routine, Pilates classes, dates with Alex from the creative team at work, a guy who saw my scars as strength. Aunt Clara updated me. Brooke deferred her bar exam, claiming burnout, lounging on shopping sprees instead. Derek dumped her post-dinner, citing toxic family dynamics. His folks feared they'd target his fortune next. Worse, Brooke had been sneaking around with a club promoter. They fled to Vegas, draining parents' $40,000 nest egg. She returned broke, hooked on the high life. No degree in practice. Parents spiraled. Foreclosure loomed without my subsidies. They sold the Jersey house at a loss, squeezing into a dingy Patterson apartment. Dad, pushing 62, guarded a strip mall overnight. Mom stocked shelves at Walmart. Joints aching. Brooke crashed with them, jobless and spiraling. Her dreams deferred indefinitely. Me? I snagged a VP role at $190,000. Bought a vacation rental in the Catskills for extra income. Alex and I went steady. He's got a kid from a prior marriage. A sharp teen who calls me out on my guarded heart. Trips followed. Napa Valley last fall. Hawaii on the horizon. Occasional please filter through relatives. We're sorry. Come meet your niece. Brooke had a girl named Lila. But I remember the laughter, the demands, the void where love should be. Alex knows the bones now. He holds me when shadows creep. Their downfall? Not vengeance, but consequence. They bet on my endless giving, blind to the toll. I chose me self-respect over blood ties. And in that choice, I found peace. Unbreakable.